Guys Retro here. So, when I was younger, I was really into the idea of game programming and video game development in general. So I programmed my own little simple games, and every once in a while I would see a really cool book about how to program video games. I'm like, oh, let me get that. So I'd get the book, I'd read it. Sometimes I'd only read half of it, and I'd start working on some games, but then I'd get distracted with something else, or I'd just give up, or whatever. For whatever reason, I just kind of abandoned it. And then after a while, I'd see another book, and I'm like, oh, let me get that book, and then the same thing would happen over and over again. So I ended up with a pretty big collection of all these books. So I thought, hey, let me show you these books today. So we're gonna start off with this one, quite frankly, because it has the coolest cover. You got this Gandalf-looking dude over here, but it's Black Art of Java, Java, game programming. Black Art of Java game programming, and it includes reusable Java libraries, and it includes a CD-ROM. It's good to know. And then you see Gandalf there doing his magical programming, I guess. That's Middle Earth there. And it's by Joel Fan. I guess he's a big fan. Eric Rise and Galen Tanichi, I guess. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Alright, let's take a look at the back here. Okay, all kinds of stuff to look at on the back. So let's read a little bit of this. As Black Art of Java Game Programming reveals how the coding masters craft interactive Java games for the web. With this book, you'll be at the forefront of a gaming revolution. You'll combine the principles of object-oriented game design with the power and potential of the Java programming language to create dynamic online entertainment. Black Art of Java Game Programming unlocks the mystery of sound, animation, color, networking, advanced graphics, and multiplayer gaming, making this the only book you'll need to program state-of-the-art interactive games or create game-like effects for the internet using the latest version of Java. In addition, the game gallery section gives you the inside scoop on some of the hottest Java games around. The creators of the games describe their games, how they work, and how they utilize the gaming potential of Java. The games include space battles, puzzles, multiplayer challenges, and much more. The complete source code for the games is included on the CD-ROM. The CD-ROM also contains reusable Java libraries, Java applets, I remember those, and Java Developers Kit, and all of the source code for the project developed in the book. And you'll learn the fundamentals of Java game programming using basic object-oriented principles. Add power to your graphics engine by using classes, inheritance, and dynamic method binding. Build 3D applets and games with the powerful Apple App 3D Core class set. Maximize Java's networking GUI facilities and build a high-score server for your games. Discover innovative techniques for creating multi-server gameplay over the web. Explore some of the most exciting Java games around and discover how they were created in the game gallery. And this was, wow, $49.99 USA and $70.95 Canadian. This was back in the day though. Not sure if it says on the back when this came out, but yeah, it's quite up there in age, I think. Nowadays I'm guessing books are much more expensive, but platform, IBM compatible PC, Macintosh, Unix workstation, operating system, Windows 95, Windows NT, Mac OS M.5 or higher, blah 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 blah. Requires CD-ROM drive, internet connection, and a computer. Yeah, so that's that. Definitely dated stuff here. I don't think anybody uses Java to create games. Maybe they do. I don't know. I've been out of the game for so long, but definitely Java applets are not a thing anymore. So this is an example of a book that is kind of useless now. However, there's even older books that are actually more useful. You'll see what I mean in a minute, but yeah, never really got too far with this stuff here. I always found the games made in Java were just way too slow. Like the games that I made anyways, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I just couldn't get the frame rate that I needed even for a simple 2D side scroller, you know. Alright, here we go. is Black Art of 3D Game Programming. Writing your own high-speed 3D polygon video games in C. Includes ZD-ROM, covers voxel, I never knew how you say that. Graphics, which that's kind of surprising. I know that's like been around for a while, but that seems to be more popular these days. I don't know. Includes Star Blazer, a 2D modem-to-modem space combat simulator, and Kill or Be Killed, a futuristic engine combat simulator. By Steve Wozniak, co-faunder of Apple Computer. Well, it's funny because these games made in this are for DOS, but anyway. By Andre Lamoth. Is that an N or an H? Lamoth, I guess. So yeah, this is interesting because this is, since it's C, and the games are made for DOS in this book, I feel like this has more value now than the Java book, because I think there's sort of, people like to go back and program retro games for retro operating systems, stuff like that, so I think this book still has some value today. Okay, let's flip it over here. See what we got here. Okay, I don't know if I read all of that, but let's take a look at the special features of Black Art 3D Game Programming. Offers a comprehensive guide to every nuance of 3D polygon video game design from concept to completion. It contains all source code for both the Microsoft and Borland C++ compilers. Oh, I guess the cover said C, not C++, but anyway. Discuss full modem communications and techniques required for creating multiplayer 3D video games. CD-ROM includes Kill or Be Killed 3D blah blah blah. Okay. Star Blazer, a 2D engine for a space age thing combat simulator. You can build from scratch over 330 shareware games and demos, including a shareware paint program. This one was $49.95 USA, $72.95 Canadian. Alright, let's check this out. Platform PC, operating system, MS-DOS 3.11 or better. Okay, level intermediate advanced requires a 486DX or 386 with a 387 MS-DOS 3.1 or better. 4 megabytes of RAM. Dang, I can't use this then. 10 megabyte hard disk space minimum. That's crazy. VGA or SVGA graphics. CD-ROM drive, Microsoft, blah blah blah. Recommended 30 to 40 megabyte hard disk space. Sound Blaster or compatible card. 2400, whatever. Blah, blah. So yeah, that's this book. I do remember. I was more interested in the 2D stuff. 3D stuff I found too complicated, but I do remember using this book in my own noggin. I guess I made like a side-scrolling, I guess Mario 3 clone. I just ripped the sprites off of Mario 3. I mean, wasn't a complete game at all. It was like I just demonstrated that I can, kind of like a tech demo, that I can actually do it. And then, as usual, I kind of just got bored and gave up. Or just moved on to something else, I guess. I wouldn't say gave up. That's kind of a harsh word. So yeah, pretty cool book here. Alright. This book here is really cool, although I never read it all that much, but I find this stuff fascinating. This is, what's with the black art, all this video game stuff is a black magic, I guess, but the black art of video game console design by Andre Lamoth again. Yeah, I find this book very, very interesting. I never really read it all that much, to be honest, but I kind of want to, and I'm under no delusion that I'm going to make my own video game console, but I do find this stuff very fascinating. Now, obviously, apparently if you read this book, it'll teach you how to make the game console. Now, it'll be like a simple, as you can see, Atari style, maybe NES style at best, but that's probably wishful thinking type of console, which would be really cool. Actually, I just thought of this, like, another thing that I think discouraged me back then from pursuing this game programming was everything was going 3D, and I find it that too complicated. I'm like, okay, there's no market for 2D games. Nobody cares about 2D games, so why am I doing this? things, you know what I mean? But obviously that's not the case anymore. So maybe I will get back into it as a hobby, of course, but who knows? But this is a really cool looking book. Let's check out the back here. Okay, Blackheart. Okay, here's what you'll find inside. Basic atomic physics and semiconductor theory primer. Wow, atomic physics. Crazy. Introduction to circuit analysis, current voltage and resistance, analog design using discrete components, digital electronics, and Boolean algebra, physical hardware construction and prototyping techniques, combinational logic and advanced integrated circuit building blocks, finite state machine design, computer architecture and design, understanding and using microprocessors and microcontrollers, developing software for embedded systems, designing video and TSC VGA audio and input device systems, interfacing and communications, the complete design and discussion of numerous game systems, including the X game stations. What the hell is that? And we have, let's see the price here. Oh wow, $59.99 US and $82.99 Canadian. So prices are going up. This is obviously a newer book than the other ones, or at least it looks like it's in much better condition. Alright, so that's a pretty cool book. I definitely will be taking a look at that one in the future. Okay. Then we have the Zen of Direct 3D Game Programming Game Development Series Primatex. CD included, seems to be commented back then. This one is by Peter Walsh and Andre Lamothe. I don't know. This guy really gets around. It looks like he dropped the accent over the E. What happened there? But oh no, the accent's here. Never mind. Sorry about that. Okay, so I think this is using like, yeah, Direct 3D. Isn't it called DirectX? I don't know, bro. This is an example of a book that's completely dated and completely useless now, in my opinion, because I'm sure all this stuff is deprecated in here now anyway. And who would want to go back to whichever version of Direct 3D they were using back then? It looks like they're using 8, so. Anyways, I'm not going to read all that. Oh, that's Andre himself. Andre 3000 or something like that. Looks very high-tech, very futuristic. He's wearing body armor. He looks like a wrestler. Looks like he's should be in the Shield. Okay, what's on the CD? Microsoft DirectX 8 software development kit. Source code from the book. FastGraph. That is Print Shop Pro 7. There's no requirements on here. I like looking at the requirements. I think it's kind of funny. And this one was also $5.99 US. Is that a 6 or 8? It's either $89.95. Yeah, it's probably $89.95. Wow. Oh, and £43.99 in the UK. Crazy. Alright, that's that book. Okay, this is Learning Android Game Programming, a hands-on guide to building your first Android game by Rick Rogers. What is Steve Rogers' brother or something? Forward by Nicholas Gramlich, that's a cool name. Creator and engine. Boop. Every time you press a button on your phone, there's somebody on the other side pressing it back. Yeah, let's take a look at the back. Speaking of the back. Okay, build the next great Android game. Learning Android programming is your hands-on, start-to-finish guide to creating winning games for today's rapidly growing Android mobile device marketplace. And if you have even basic Android development experience, Rick Rogers will help you build your knowledge to quickly create low-budget 2D. Download the free version of Virgins vs. Vampires. Wow, I might have to edit that part out. With this book, you'll learn how to use free Android tools, implement the game AI techniques to make your game smarter and more fun, and build a scoring framework based on collisions between your game elements. And this was so it's cheaper. It's a much thinner book. $39.99 US and $41.99 Canadian. 45 days free access to online with purchase of this book. Yeah, I think that expired by now. So yeah, I remember making a game based off of this book while I was working on it. I didn't make it and finish it, of course. It was actually pretty cool. But then, of course, I abandoned it, and I can't find it now. I wish I could find it. It was like an overhead dungeon crawling type of game. Man, I wish I could find that game. I think it's gone. It's too bad. But I remember being really frustrated because it's like, it was just a frustrating experience, and like you had to update something like often. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. And that's another issue I had with game programming, is that technology was just developing way too fast to keep up. That's why I like the idea, and might explore the idea of like, oh, I can make a game for NES or Game Boy. There's like resources that tell you how to do that, because NES is never gonna change. You never have to update the software or whatever. So, and if it runs, it runs. So I don't know if I'll use the NES. Maybe it'll be a Game Boy. Maybe I don't know. Whatever's, I guess, the easiest to start with, or most likely I'll never do it. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, this is not technically a video game programming book, but it's Open GL Programming Guide 3rd edition, the official guide to learning OpenGL version 1.2. Got some cool Lego graphics here. OpenGL Architecture Review Board. Mason Wu, Jackie Nider, Tom Davis, and Dave Schreiner. Take a look at the back here. 3D texture mapping, multi-texturing, new pixel storage formats, including packed and reversed BGRA formats, spectacular lighting after texturing, the OpenGL imaging subset, new GLU routines, and functionality. Alright, that is that. Let's see. $54.99 US, $82.50 Canadian. Dang, that's a big range there. Alright. Once again, this is technically not a game programming book, but it's about 3D graphics, so 3D graphics programming, games, and beyond. Oh, it is a game programming book, never mind. Theory and Practice of Computer Graphics in C by Sergey Savchenko. See the back there. With this sought-after guide, you'll find detailed coverage of such things as hardware interfaces, implementing geometric transformations, plotting geometric primitives, shadow and environmental reflections, clipping primitives in 2D and 3D, texture mapping, constructing models, hidden surface removal, color and lighting, screen to world and world to screen viewing, software engineering for graphics applications. And this bad boy was $34.99 US, $52.95 Canadian. Not too bad. Once again, no requirements on the back here. I don't remember reading that one too much, so I probably didn't get very far. The Indie Game Development Survival Guide. Explore the indie game development, business to find out if you're ready to develop your own game ideas. Learn practical guidelines for designing, developing, and publishing your own game. Discover new and innovative ways to use the internet to market, test, and deliver your game. By David Michael. Got some artwork there. I read this one, I found it interesting. I don't remember much about it, but I remember finding it interesting. Key feature teaches independent game developers how to create game it's more like the process, the overall process and management and blah 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 of making a game. Not, nothing technical, I guess. And this was, where the hell's the price? Oh, here, $39.95 US, $59.95 Canadian. Alright, this one is completely obsolete, that's for sure. It is Macromedia Flash MX 2004 Game Design Demystified. Covers the latest information on Macromedia Flash MX 2004 Game Design by Job Makar, I don't know, and Ben Winnick. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. I apologize. Okay, covers the latest. Oh no, I already read that. Okay, blah blah blah. What's inside using ActionScript 2.0 and object-oriented programming to simplify game design and development, enhance coverage of real-time multiplayer games, and creating and optimizing graphics. An inside look at the important steps of conceptualizing and planning game design projects. Comprehensive coverage of key game concepts, including math, physics, collision detection, and reaction, artificial intelligence, optimized graphics, and sound effects. I doubt there's much real artificial intelligence in this book, but $49.99 US, $71.99 Canadian, and £37.99 net UK. Kind of expensive for a book this thin, but I guess this was in the 2000s, so things get more expensive, I guess. And this monster here barely fits in this, in camera, but this is 3ds Max 6. 3D Studio Max Bible by Kelly L. Murdoch. Yeah, 3D Studio Max, it's, how you create 3D models and stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly why I got this. I did play around with 3D Studio Max for a bit, but canceled all those things after a while. It's just like, this is just too complicated. I don't know if I want to dedicate that much time into learning this. And again, something that's like always advancing so fast. It's hard to keep up for me anyways. 100% comprehensive, authoritative, what you need. Okay, plunge right into 3D Studio Max with the exciting Quick Start Project Part 1. Explore Reactor to Mental Ray, Particle Flow, Blob Mesh, and other revolutionary new features. Master the use of inverse kinematic space warps, ray tracing, and other techniques. Okay, let's turn this thing over. If 3D Studio Max 6 can do it, you can do it too. Alright, inside you'll find complete coverage of 3ds Max 6. And it comes with 2 bonus CD-ROMs, over 500 megabytes of tutorial files, and searchable color PDF on the book. Alright, system requirements, please see, okay, whatever. $49.99 US, $71.99 Canadian. Reader level beginning to advanced. I don't know about that. But anyways, there you go. Let's turn this back over. There is my collection of game programming and game programming-esque